Hello everyone, welcome back to Pokemon Black and White. Last time, we traveled to the top of Dragon Spiral Tower and had a showdown with Team Plasma. They delayed us long enough for N to reawaken the legendary Pokemon Reshiram, and with the legendary dragon in his possession, he tasked us with seeking out the legendary Pokemon Zekrom, its equal, to challenge us to a battle of ideals and truths. See whose convictions could overturn the others. And today, we are nowhere near strong enough to even be doing any of that stuff, so we are going to be traveling. Traveling to where? More of Icyrus, which is a very apt name considering this place is literally just more of Icyrus. There is almost nothing of note here. There's no new encounters. There are not really many outstanding items. You can get two Citrus Berries here. You can get a Max Revive, a Max Ether, and a Max Elixir, but that's really it, and you can buy Revival Herbs, which are functionally Max Revives. You can not really need Ethers or Elixirs throughout most of the story, if only because you don't really need to be restoring on PP that much. Granted, the Citrus Berries are probably kind of helpful in that you can just give them to a Pokemon, but I've actually rarely found berries useful in this game and even in most Pokemon games, so I don't really think that not having access to a couple berries is that big, but you can explore the more of Icyrus if you really want. It is a interesting place. I do like how they do use the little skating on ice mechanic a bit more, but two Frax here, that's a bit terrifying. We're gonna be encountering more of you soon. Oh, Mold Breaker. We do not actually have the ability, actually we do have the ability to go catch one of these, or rather, its pre-evolved form, and we will be going over that in a bit. But yes, we are going to be traveling over Unova, specifically with the intention of growing our team, becoming stronger, and exploring most of Unova. Because, believe it or not, we have explored very little of Unova. We have a number of caves to go exploring, and there's just a lot of routes we have yet to explore. There's a couple Pokemon we can actually get right now that are pretty helpful, and even some useful moves. I didn't make a note of these before when we got TM Surf, because I knew that we were going to be going into Twist Mountain and then having this showdown with Team Plasma. I felt it would make far more sense to be exploring the Unova region and becoming stronger, knowing that they have a legendary dragon on their side. We are not ready to face that thing yet. And also, I flew to the wrong city. We are going to be making our first stop in Nimbasa City. I meant to fly to Nimbasa City, not Icyrus City, because there's a thing I have neglected to go pick up before we have set out on the rest of our journeys. And there's actually a couple of miscellaneous things. There's a lot of things I forgot to note throughout our travels, and am going to more or less try to cover every single little thing because I was bad at it. No, not you. So I did make a note. He's in Nimbasa City. I think it's... Where is it in Nimbasa? I know it's to the... I think it's to the west or something? Is it up? I know he's in one of the houses. We're going to be getting HM Strength, and it's going to be quite helpful to us, because there's a couple of places we've seen throughout the region where there are giant boulders we can move, and we just haven't had the ability to move said giant boulders. Now, we actually have had the ability to get the giant boulder moving move for a while, but I was less than still about things getting picked up. We also couldn't really go to the bulk of what I would have liked to do, so where the heck is it? Where is this HM? I know it's in Nimbasa. I made note of it. These are the trips by train. There's actually another thing we didn't do. Anvil Town. That guy just mentioned something. I do want to go over Anvil Town. I forgot to mention that a while ago, and it's a great place. Class now. You. Where's the freaking thing? Where is the freaking thing? Shiny Krokorok, what the color's like. We've not encountered shiny Pokemon yet, and we probably won't, because we are not that lucky. The Pokemon appearance. Pokemon. No. Where the heck is the TM? I know it's here somewhere. Where is... I know it's in Nimbasa City. I made note of it compared to Nimbasa, San, this. Sunstone! No, you give me something, but not that. Sunstone, actually, not bad, but I don't really... Oh, yeah, Petal gets it as a stone. I was gonna say, what is that is evolved with Sunstone? But yeah, they just told me it was a Petal. I know I made note of it. This house... I'm fairly certain that it's here. Ooh, it's far apart. There we go! Of course, it was the first house I went into, actually the second one. But yes, we have gotten 8 times shiny Pokemon today. Push a big rock. You want to stop fighting. We're on Route 16 at the thump. So, he told us that Route 16 has a couple of rocks to push. I, however, have some more interesting uses for this rock pushing move. And we're going to be going over that when we get to these certain places. And I meant to click on Pokemon. Use the stylus. Just use the freaking stylus. You guys, at the next location for where we shall begin our little endeavors. And I forgot to show Anvil Town right when I said I wanted to show off Anvil Town. Great. I leave a big list of, okay, go to these places in this sequential order right next to my DS while I'm recording, and I somehow fail to even acknowledge its existence. Way to go. You are an achievement in obliviousness. Anvil Town, there we go. Okay. So, Anvil Town is the train right next to this group of 3 over the side. And we are off to Anvil Town. Train the laboratory, all aboard. Anvil Town is an interesting little place. I really like it. It's not a required place you ever have to go to, and it's just a quiet little town. As you can see, it's always been on our town map. There's the map. It's always been off to this far corner, a city with a rail yard where trains park for an overhaul. It's a very, very nice little quaint town. A beautiful tune is spreading throughout the town. Oh, you're curious about that train? Alright, let me explain. This train car is a Wi-Fi train. It is the fastest long-distance high-speed train in the Battle Subway. When was I trying to talk about internet? All the pendulum charge curves run down, without slowing down. Faster, faster. Our engineers' spirits are infused in it. Now, the Anvil Town is an interesting place. It is never required to visit. However, there's actually a good amount of items you can get here. Occasionally, I do not know, on weekends a lot of people come here to watch the trains. Yeah, on weekends, there will be people who come here to look at the trains, and you can trade items with them. I'm not going to go over all of them. On weekends, many Star Piece collectors gather here. It'll be easier for them to collect their items, because people who are trading different items come here. I was actually just talking about that. So, yes, you can come here and trade items. Some of them are worth it, others not at all. I'm not going to be detailing all of these trades because there's just a lot of them, and there's another person. Oh, and with a face like that, I bet you're a Pokemon trainer working as a depot agent on the Battle Subway. Have you tried challenging the Battle Subway yet? It's a hotspot for those who want some serious battling action. On the news, people get too wrapped up in the battles and end up... And there's no end to the lost and found items. That's right, nobody ever came to pick us up, so I'll give it to you. We obtained the rare candies. I believe the gentleman only gives you 2 rare candies, so it is a bit misleading. It is the bare minimum to be plural, but not plural enough to be super great. Or at least anything more than what you would expect. He will continue to gather items. I believe you do have to beat certain increments of trainers in the Battle Subway where it will then roll him to get items, but until then, you don't really get anything else from him. Lots of people ride on the trains, right? So people who drive the trains and the people who maintain them have a big responsibility. Locomotion is actually pretty interesting. Anvil Town is famous for its turntable. You saw it from the bridge, right? Yep. But yeah, Anvil Town is just this little quaint town. There's not really much to go on here, and there's no items on the ground anywhere. It's an interesting little place, and wait, there's an item here. There is no hidden items. There is a hidden item where let's find, collect, find. Where is it? Right. There you go. Right over. Like. Where is it? Right here. Ultra Ball. Not bad. Actually, pretty good. But yeah, there's. Well, I would say there are no items. There are a couple, but again, they are just from trades. And, we're not going to destroy the amazing music in this place. I do like the music here. It's very nice, especially when you stand next to the girl and you get a little bit of a flute. You don't really ever have to come here, and again, you can just get a couple of spare items here. It's pretty fantastic. I like the idea of this place. You don't really see places like this in Pokemon games anymore, and I just kind of wish they would go back to doing places like this where they're completely optional offshoot areas that just have some interesting things to go and see. But we will be heading back on our journey because we can't stay in this lovely little town for very long. We have to get back on our journey to stopping Team Plasma from taking over the world. And we will do that by first going to Professor Juniper for some assistance. Why? Because there's a couple of things that she has that I have seriously neglected. Hey Alex, how you been? If you're coming along, yes, you can see the Pokedex, you see 91 Pokemon in the Unova region. We are barely over halfway sealing all the Pokemon in the Unova region. Wow, getting full, respect your journeys, good clip, for your hard work. TM54 False Swipe. This will make it so much easier to actually catch Pokemon, because False Swipe will always leave a Pokemon with 1 HP, so you can never KO a Pokemon with it. If only you could actually have this move whenever you actually find a shiny Pokemon. And she also gives us, for good measure, TM17 Protect. This lets you block all damage from a move, barring a few, for a turn, guaranteed. If you use it in succession, it will fail, or at least has a higher chance of failing. But if it has failed the previous turn, or if used a move that is not any form of a protecting move, there's a list of them. It's Endure, Protect. I believe Wide Guard and Quick Guard are exempt from this because they work a bit differently. But Detect, Protect, Endure, all of them are affected by this, and if you use them in succession, they will fail. They also all are related with one another, so you can't just use Detect, Protect, and get around it that way. It doesn't work that way. Because I'm pretty sure functionally Protect and Detect are considered the same move, but there's something that makes them distinguished, so moves like Imprison don't work on them. But yes, we have gotten a good move for catching Pokemon. It's not exactly the worst move out there, and I kind of wish it was a bit stronger than it is, because it's a fairly weak move, but I think that we should actually go see our mom. Maxis, how are you doing? Your Pokemon, good trainers don't push the Pokemon too hard, and we just stay here. Well, there is an evil, or rather just a person trying to take over the world and remove all trainers from Pokemon, so we are being kind to our Pokemon. For that reason, we just want to stop that. But yeah, I don't think that a mother would normally let her son go and do that. But I don't know, when we have, we have a giant Archaeopteryx because, well, actually, I wonder if by this point in the evolutionary line that they were actually considered not dinosaurs anymore, because I do study geobiology, and pterosaurs and dinosaurs were not the same thing. But when we have a flying dragon-looking creature of rocks, a giant flaming monkey of doom, and a giant electrical spider, and a giant ice cream cone-looking thing, and also our two partners, which are a giant snake, and I'm blanking on the last person of the team. I'm ashamed of myself. Mogera! How could I forget Mogera? She was the second member of the team. How could I forget her? She was important. Oh my gosh, I feel so ashamed. I'm sorry, Mogera. You were important to the team. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. But yes, our new world search begins back at the place where our journey began, Route 1. And there's actually some new stuff for us to go over here. Or at least there would have been had I not gone over Basculin a bit before. Because this is where I intended to go over Basculin, but we encountered it in another location before we could actually encounter it here. Instead, we will be traveling over this way to Encounters. I really should have got... I hope I have some repels, otherwise I'm gonna go crazy. Actually, I'm just gonna go probably buy a bunch of repels and then come back if I don't have sufficient amount. And speaking of things relating to other things... Actually, oh wait, we could sneak down there. Okay. But we have actually made it to some new routes. And as you can tell from new routes, there's going to be new Pokemon. And also, there's no power on this bulletin board. Odd and also vaguely slightly creepy. There's nothing of interest beyond here. The electric bulletin has gone pitch black. Kind of refreshing, isn't it? Wow, that's actually very self-aware. I like that. What do you have to say? Wasting money is bad. Wasting time is even worse. Because there are some things that can only be done now. Oh boy, if you only knew the truth. Yeah. But we have made it to Route 17. We have some new encounters here, and I kind of like them. Or at least, not the first one. We have Alomomola. Despite his name being very difficult to pronounce, the way it battles is not much difficult. I said that very horribly. It is not a very interesting Pokemon beyond the fact that it has just a massive HP stat and decent physical stats with subpar speed special stats. This thing could have really been a fantastic Pokemon for double and triple battles if it just were the fact that they are so infrequent in the game. Its abilities beg for this. Healer. Heal Pulse. It also has a very just wide support moveset, but just a 30% chance of healing an ally status condition at the end of a turn. That's very helpful in double battles and triple battles, but we don't find them. Hydration. Not as good, but somewhat helpful. But the real prize on the route. Behold your nightmares made real. Frillish is adorable, or slightly creepy, depending on how you look at it with which form. Its abilities are quite interesting. Curse Body and Water Absorb make it very tanky. It is immune to water-type damage. If it has Water Absorb, and Curse Body has a chance of disabling an opponent's move if it makes contact. It's got very bulky stats, especially when it evolves into Jellicent, where it becomes even more nightmare fuel-y, or the most girly spaceship in the world. Mr. and Mrs. Pringle are quite a force to be reckoned with. They don't have exactly the greatest of offensive stats, but with their defensive stats and their abilities, they can be extremely annoying. And remember, they have Water Absorb. There's a lot of water types on this route. You can just switch them into water types, and baiting moves isn't exactly that hard in this game because of how bad the AI is. I mean, I like the AI in this game. It's good in some instances, but overall, it's very easy to bait moves. If you have a Pokemon that's weak to water and they have a water type move, chances are they're just going to use a water move on you. You can just switch the Jellicent in, slurp up that water, and just get more HP out of that. Also, I just realized it also was I didn't mention it was a ghost type, which that is where all the Nightmare Fuel stuff comes from. You know, the fact that, like, drag ships down with tentacles. It's a giant balloon of doom. I like it. I kind of wish more Pokemon were Nightmare Fuel-y like that, because when you have the Pokemon that have those Nightmare Fuel backstories, it just makes them a lot more interesting, and whenever you fight against them, it just feels really good to knock them out. I have no bitterness towards Trick Room teams in VGC. Not at all. I hate Jellicent. I mean, I hate it, but I also love it. Also, I forgot that I haven't used Repel yet. This is not the generation where they made it so you could auto-reapply a Repel, auto-reapply a Repel after one wears off. So, we do have some interesting little ripple formations over here. These rapids, you cannot control yourself when you are on them, and also, I believe we did pick up, yes, we picked up TM Toxic a little bit before after beating that fisherman and while I was going over bios. I do not exactly remember which... Okay, so I'll have to go the other way because I think this was the correct way. There are a good number of hidden items on this route, Mostly, you have some heart skills, which are good for reteaching moves, and there's a couple of TMs. Though, one of those TMs is actually kind of useless. The other is actually quite helpful, or rather, it's not on this route, it's on another route, but it is one that is exactly adjacent to this route, so I kind of consider them one and the same. There's no new encounters on the grass, or at least new encounters of Pokemon we have not gone over the prior evolutions of. There's also a pretty decent spot to train, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff on this route. It's pretty expansive, and I actually really like it. But we have come to, in my opinion, a stop that is a troll. Pokemon Trainer, sparkle in your eyes, kindness for Pokemon. I've decided. I'll trust this egg I found in the Relic Castle to you. Would you like the egg and raise it? Yep. That's your thought, but you cannot take the egg right now because your party is full. Yep. The game is like, hey, you came all the way onto this route. Oh, you have a full party of Pokemon. Sorry, you have to come back with an open slot. The Pokemon we get from this is Larvesta. Don't bother using this thing. You will not get it evolved. You will not get this thing evolved before you beat the game. It evolved at level 59. You are not evolving this thing before you start the post game. I know, I've tried, but I'm a glutton for punishment. So I'm actually gonna hatch the frickin' thing. I'll be right back.